Rich Natoli with you. You're watching A Vegas Voice, and my special guest in studio, guests plural, we have got from Art Encounters, the art expert from the TV show Pawn Stars, seen in how many countries?
It's in a lot of countries. I think it's in about 130.
Yeah, 130
right
countries.
Yeah.
Brett Maly right there.
Thank you, Rich.
From
Thanks
Pawn
for having
Stars. Thanks for being here. And singer, entertainer, actress Joelle Righetti.
Hi.
Right there.
Thank you for having me on today.
Yes. So let's start with you for a second, Joelle. Okay, you're doing a show right now at Bally's, and
Correct.
then you're doing another one.
Well, I just opened with Tony Sacca and you as well. We're doing the show together at Bally's. It's called Vegas the Story. Tony Sacca's Vegas the Story. I actually was in the show a couple years ago, and he decided to put it back up on its feet, so I'm very honored to be a part of that. And I'm also in the Rat Pack show at the Tuscany. That's Dick Feeney's Rat Pack.
And what do you do in the Rat Pack?
I am a female presence in the show. I come out towards the end of the show, but actually the show begins for me at the door. When the guests are in line with their tickets, I take their tickets, and they think I'm the maitre d' or one of the ticket takers, and then I end up at the end of the show as a gift to Frank Sinatra for the show.
And when is that show? Every night?
That show is Monday through Saturday at 7:30 p.m.
Yeah.
at the Tuscany Hotel.
Wow.
So very
everybody,
successful.
and if people want to get tickets, they go to the Tuscany?
They can go to the Tuscany, or they can go to any ticket broker in town, sells those tickets as well. Anywhere that you can buy local shows, showtickets.com or any of those.
And Tony Sacca's show runs 5 days a week at Tuesday
that runs
through
Tuesday
Saturday.
through Saturday at 2 p.m.
2 p.m. at Bally's in the window showroom upstairs.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
it's
real fun
room,
show, too.
isn't it?
Yeah, it
Doing
is.
that
It's
show?
great, yeah.
Yeah, and then Brett Maly right here at Pawn Stars. And you've appeared on how many episodes of Pawn Stars?
About 50, I think. A little over 50.
God, 50. They
Yeah.
call you whenever they want to know if something's real, like a painting, right?
You know, there's so many unique items here in Las Vegas, and it's such a melting pot. They get some unbelievable items. And if they get a Picasso or a Dali or a Monet that they have questions on, usually I'm the guy they call. So it's been great.
Yeah, and you've been doing this like your whole life, right? I mean, because
Well,
your dad was in, right?
Yeah, we started out as a family business. My dad actually, believe it or not, started a computer company initially. He owned a computer company for about 12 years, but he always had an interest in art, and he would broker art on the side.
Right.
And he looked at moving to Vegas. He used to love coming out to Las Vegas to Comdex and everything. And he said, I want to start something out in Las Vegas. And by that time, he was burned out completely on the computer side of things. So he said, I'm going to do a complete 180. And then he opened up Art Encounter in 1992.
And did he know a lot about art when he did that?
Well, he knew a bit about art as a broker, but he wanted a concept, and our initial concept with Art Encounter was kind of a studio concept where we would actually rent wall space to the artist. So we would have the artist come in, they would have their own space, and we would do that in lieu of most galleries that do a commission.
Yeah.
The artist would get 100% of their proceeds, but they would rent a space from us. So you'd go in and you'd see literally, hundreds of artists' work, and a lot of local artists as well. So it had a real nice, unique local flavor. And it was the first gallery of its kind out here, so it started, the local art scene that kind of paved the way for First Friday and some of the other things that are going right now. So.
Yeah, and so now you give tours, right, of the studio? Do you give tours for people?
Well, the gallery that we have now, it is open to the public. It's Art Encounter at 5720 South Arville Street. We have two suites, Suite 119, which is our frame operation, and Suite 117, which is our gallery. And it is open to the public 8:30 to 5 Monday through Friday, but also by appointment, to where if people want to come in and see some of the rare works. And right now we've got some incredible works. We have an original Picasso. We have an original Edward Hopper. If people want to come in and get more of a personalized tour, we're happy to do that and kind of show the works.
Now, do you have to deal with the families to get these, like the paintings, the Picassos and these kind of things?
Most of them are from private collectors.
To private collectors. So you don't. Are there any Picasso relatives still living? And
there are. Yeah, there's a Picasso estate that actually does a lot of the authentication.
Yeah.
So we do have to submit works to them occasionally for them to give their yay or their nay.
Right.
And sometimes that presents problems. But the nice thing is we've got a very well versed and well educated staff, so we can separate the wheat from the chaff. And any works that you see up on our walls are all 100% authenticated.
Yeah, there's awesome stuff in there because I've taken that tour. You were gracious enough to give me that tour.
I
So
really
now,
did.
Joelle, you into art?
Well, I
Art
was
and
raised
Frank
here.
and Bob
I
and
was
Jim.
into all that old stuff. Oddly enough, speaking of old things, my father, who was the reason why I got into show business, was Elvis's bodyguard, and he worked at the International many years ago. And oddly enough, we had been speaking with them over at the Pawn Stars, and there's a possibility that we could end up on an episode. My father is selling a beautiful ring that Elvis gave to him when he defended him one night on stage. There were a couple gentlemen that tried to actually hurt Elvis, and so my father was on stage, and wonderful story that's in a book called Elvis What Happened. But oddly enough, my father, his dying wish is to be able to sell the ring, and he is still living and fairly healthy, but as he's getting older now, he's wanting to be able to sell this ring and see the proceeds go to the family. So that's his wish, and that's what we hope to fulfill. And so it's very odd that I ended up on this show today with you. There are no accidents, of course.
That's very cool.
And so the answer to your question, am I into art? Absolutely. Being an artist in Las Vegas for many years as a performer, I'm always in awe of the things and the businesses that have grown and have stayed alive here in Las Vegas.
Why do I think a celebrity like Wayne Newton, who was friends with Elvis, would buy that ring? Why do I think
I
that?
don't know. You never know. And if Wayne's listening, by all means,
I'd
love
message to him.
I would absolutely adore to get the message to him. But I think the more we can bring this about and bring awareness about to the society that he is trying to release this ring, I think it would be good to put it in the right hand of the right person.
Yeah, it's it's funny because Red Fox's wife, who was a nice Asian lady who was with him when he died, married to him when he died, she told me, she said that Red Fox was given a diamond watch by Elvis, and that he was one of his prized possessions. And when the IRS confiscated all of Red Fox's things that time, they took the watch. And she said she fought and fought and fought to get the watch back, and she got a watch back, but it was a replica.
Is that right? Oh,
Somebody clipped that watch down the line. The diamond, that was inscribed to him.
Right. Oh, boy.
Wow. So Elvis gave a lot of gifts. Is the
He
point.
did. That was a big deal. He traveled with his jeweler. I don't know if you knew this or not, but he had a jeweler that traveled with him, and he would carry a case. There's a DVD out about this that the Mater D from my show talked about, and he actually had a briefcase, and he would open the briefcase, and Elvis would say, "Give me that ring and that ring and that ring," and he would give them away. He would have them made here in Las Vegas at T-Bird Jewelers. He had a jeweler that made everything. The guy's still alive, actually. And then he would have this gentleman carry this case around the country with him, and he would go with him, and he would attach it to his arm via
like a handcuff or something.
Yeah,
wow.
And he would carry
a
thing of jewelry with him.
I know there was one story where he just bought this really, really, really expensive ring, and he was wearing it in the concert that night. And before the concert, Joe Esposito and some people, they said, "Elvis, whatever you do, don't give that ring away, because that one is not even paid for yet. It costs so much money." He said Elvis was on stage in the middle of the concert. He looked over at them in the wings, and he smiled, and he pulled the ring off and handed it to some girl in the front row.
I mean,
and they were going like,
Can you imagine half the proceeds of the finances that he incorporated from his shows were given away to the public?
Right.
Given away.
And, I think the biggest issue now with getting, having a possession of this type and not actually having a photograph of him wearing it, or, it's kind of a fine line. It's a divided line. I'm sure with art in your business, it's the same.
Yeah, provenance is everything. Knowing who wore it, when they wore it, all the circumstances surrounding it. That adds a lot to the value, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're talking to Brett Maly from Pawn Stars fame, the art collector. Right?
I am a collector.
You're a collector, and you're an art salesman, and you're an art expert, and from Art Encounters here in Las Vegas, and entertainer, singer, actress Joelle Righetti. This is the Vegas Voice, where we'll be right back. Take a commercial. Stay with us.